All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is the 18th of January, 2023. Give me just a second. Let me get set up here. We do have a tornado warning in effect. This is going to be for a small thunderstorm that is showing a pretty good sign of rotation. It's going to be a tornado warning until 11 a.m. for portions of Rusk and Nacogdoches counties. Specifically, this is going to be for a possible tornado coming up on Highway 204, very near Trawick. This is going to be staying north of Nacogdoches and probably just south of Mount Enterprise. Although Mount Enterprise, Appleby, and Garrison are included in this tornado warning. So again, this is going to be a tornado warning for southeastern Rusk and northwestern Nacogdoches County until 11 a.m. for a possible tornado approaching the community of Trawick, southeast of Cushing on Highway 204, maybe 2 to 3 miles west of Highway 259. Now I'm going to try real quick and get this set up. Still somewhat in development, but it might just work for what we need it to do today. And I think it will. Yeah, that'll work just fine. It may not be Texas specific, but it's okay for this. So again, we are live because of a tornado warning. I'm Texas Storm Chasers Buddy-in-Chief David Reimer. It's about 10:18 on the 18th of January 2023, a Wednesday. We've got a tornado warning for southeastern Rusk and northwestern Nacogdoches counties until 11 a.m. This is going to be for a possible tornado located near Trawick or 11 miles northwest of Nacogdoches, and this is going to be moving northeast at about 30 miles per hour. So let's go ahead and switch back over to the How Hard It's Raining mode. Let me get some road names on here. And again, this tornado warning technically does include the city of Mount Enterprise. It includes Highway 59 all the way from 259 all the way up to just southwest of Tipson. That means Appleby, Garrison are included in this tornado warning. If you're in the tornado warning, you need to take action. That's going to be the lowest floor, center room, away from windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. If you're not in this warning, you don't need to do anything. And again, here are the severe weather safety rules. If you are in a site-built structure, a site-built home, lowest floor, center room, away from windows, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. If you're in a trailer or a vehicle, you need to abandon those and move to a site-built structure quickly, or something that is, better than a trailer. Trailer's about the last place you want to be in a tornado warning. Even weak tornadoes can loft trailers, and the stronger tornadoes will completely and utterly obliterate them. A lot of fatalities we have from tornadoes are due to folks being in trailers. For example, the tornado outbreak last week in Alabama killed several people, and I believe most of them or all of them were in trailers. So again, this is going to be a possible tornado coming up on Highway 204 near Trawick. It's going to be coming up on County Road 817, Dempsey Road, Nat Trawick Road, Highway 204. And eventually, this is going to be crossing Highway 259, probably near the Nacogdoches Rusk County line. So again, we're here due to a tornado warning. We're looking at the which way the wind is blowing mode. And looking at that, we can see we've got winds moving towards the radar at Shreveport at about 30 miles per hour. Winds moving away about 30, so about 60 mile an hour gate-to-gate shear. And notice how it's pixel to pixel red and green. So while this is a small thunderstorm, what we can probably call a mini supercell, the rotation is certainly there and supportive for what could produce a brief tornado. So again, back over to the which way the wind's blowing mode, and we've got a strong circulation coming up on Highway 204 near Dempsey Road and County Road 817. From there, this circulation is going to be moving towards Highway 259, moving northeast at about 30 miles per hour. This will be crossing over the Old Henderson Highway west of 259, Henry Jenkins Road, as this storm moves to the northeast at about 30 miles per hour. So let's go ahead, we'll put a storm track on it, at least give y'all a general idea of the direction of this possible tornado. Now let's do it this way. I want to make it a wider track than that. Just do that. And again, this is moving northeast, generally at about 30 to 35 miles an hour. So again, this is just a general guideline of where this storm may end up. Obviously, it may turn a little left, it may turn a little right, and this is the tornado warning polygon we have until 11 a.m. And again, this is for a possible tornado very near Trewick on Highway 204, moving northeast at about 30 miles per hour. Okay. So let's go ahead, make sure we're not missing anything here. I don't believe we are. This is the only tornado warning we have in the state of Texas at this point. We've got a scroll working on the bottom of the screen. A relatively new feature. This is the first time we've rolled it out. That's a national feed at this point. We'll get it down to Texas specific for later events, but I didn't have time to do that. Nevertheless, we do have a couple of severe warnings and a couple of tornado warnings earlier in Arkansas. But again, we have one tornado warning for northern Nacogdoches and southern Rusk counties until 11 a.m. That's going to be for this thunderstorm, capable of producing a brief tornado now on Highway 204, or just northeast of Highway 204, near Trewick, moving to the northeast at 30 miles an hour. So again, this is Highway 204. You've got 259. You've got the Old Henderson Highway, Henry Jenkins Road. Once we get east of there, we'll have Camp Tonkawa Road. I'm just going to put some roads on, labels on here while I am got this all set up. You can see we've got an update for that tornado warning. We'll read that live. At 10:24 a.m., a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado is located near Trewick, or 12 miles north of Nacogdoches, and this is moving northeast at 30 miles per hour. This possible tornado will be located near Garrison at about 10:50 a.m., so in about 20 to 25 minutes. This tornado warning polygon technically does include the city of Mount Enterprise. It also includes Garrison. It does not include the city of Nacogdoches. It no longer includes Appleby. So again, if you're in Nacogdoches, this is north of you. You've got a storm coming in from the southwest that's not doing much. But again, if you're in Nacogdoches, you don't need to do anything about this. If you're in Mount Enterprise, north and east of Trewick, over to Garrison, you do need to do something because you're in this warning polygon. And that's going to be lowest floor, center room, away from windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. If you are in a sturdy site-built structure, no trailers, no mobile homes, no vehicles. If you're in a trailer or a mobile home, you're better off lying outside in a ditch. I know you're going to get wet. It's not a good situation, but trust me, trailers and tornadoes are death traps. And data proves that. And trust me, trailers
Mobile homes are great, affordable living, but they just do not do well in significant high wind situations. So again, a possible tornado northeast of Highway 204, just northeast of Trailwick, coming up on the Old Anderson Highway, about a mile north of Highway 204. The data you're looking at here is about 2 to 3 minutes old. You'll see an updated scan shortly, and that'll place the rotation again coming up on Henry Jenkins Road and the Old Henderson Highway, which will then cross over Highway 259, probably near County Road 3197 in southern Rusk County, or near Camp Tonkawa Road in northern Nacogdoches County. And again, as circulation is moving to the northeast at about 30 miles per hour. Now, in all likelihood, this is going to stay south of the city of Mount Enterprise proper, but the Weather Service has elected to keep Mount Enterprise in that tornado warning polygon. So we're going to respect that and encourage our viewers in Mount Enterprise to go ahead and enact their tornado safety precautions. And again, this is a tornado warning until 11 a.m., the time now being 10:27 on Wednesday, the 18th of January 2023. We've had a busy winter tornado season, and that continues. Zooming back out, this is the only tornado warning in the state of Texas. We do note a severe thunderstorm warning. This is going to be for damaging straight line winds coming up towards Wascom on Interstate 20 down to DeBerry on Highway 79. We'll switch over to the wind mode of this, and yeah, radar in Shreveport off Interstate 20 and 220 is detecting some winds. We could have localized winds up to 60 miles per hour. Maybe some small hail. Let me make sure. Yeah, the Weather Service saying 60 mile an hour winds, maybe some penny-sized hail. And these storms are booking it to the east-northeast at about 45 miles per hour. So after DeBerry and Wascom, up to 60 mile an hour winds out of the west, though could knock some trees down, cause some power outages, knock some tree debris down on roads. This will be moving into, well, Shreveport. So again, we had the tornado back in, I believe it was December, early to mid-December, near DeBerry off Highway 79. No tornado this time, just damaging straight line winds. And the only tornado warning we have in the state right now is for this circulation that's looking a little less defined, a little weaker, but still evident on radar imagery. About 2 to 3 miles northeast now of Trailwick, about to cross over Highway 259, very near Camp Tonkawa Road. And from there, it'll continue moving to the northeast. There's the latest radar scan. So again, right on the Old Henderson Highway right now near Henry Jenkins Road. Moving off to the northeast at about 30 miles per hour. It'll be crossing over Camp Tonkawa Road and then moving up towards County Road 3267 before pushing into southern Rusk County. This is not going to be an issue for the city of Mount Enterprise. This is not an issue for Appleby or Nacogdoches. Garrison, you're technically in this tornado warning, so those of you from Mount Enterprise, especially south and east of the town of Mount Enterprise, down to Garrison, and eventually maybe east to Tipson, need to enact their tornado safety precautions. Don't go outside looking for this. In all likelihood, if there is a brief tornado underway, it is wrapped in rain. I don't believe this is going to be a situation where we're dealing with long track, long-lived tornadoes today. This is more of a probably short-lived pulsing nature where we may have a brief tornado down for a minute or two, lifts, and storms may cycle and try to do it again. The overall tornado threat does remain low this morning, and I'm not expecting too many issues. That being said, when it comes to Mother Nature, you always want to expect the unexpected, which is why we're keeping an eye on these things. But again, I don't expect long-lived, mile-wide tornadoes down for tens of minutes at a time. But I mean, if you get a weak EF0 or EF1 tornado down for 2 minutes and it comes down your street, it's going to be a big deal to you. It's going to knock your roof off, knock trees down everywhere, kill your power. And if you're unfortunate enough, it might put a tree down on your house, which is just not a particularly enjoyable thing to have happen at all. So again, we'll switch back over to the how hard it's a raining mode, and we are aware of a data outage with our weather radar on our website and our free mobile app. Unfortunately, that is completely and utterly out of our control. That is a data vendor or a vendor issue with our radar vendor. Unfortunately, I guess it just decided to pick this morning to break, but I'm afraid there is not anything I can do about that. Hopefully they get it fixed quickly, but stuff breaks, unfortunately, and it's usually not at the most opportune time. So it is 10:32 a.m. I'm Texas Storm Chasers Baldy-in-Chief David Reimer. A tornado warning for another 28 minutes for southern Rusk and northern Nacogdoches County. This is for a possible tornado located very near Highway 259 and Camp Tonkawa Road. This is going to be well north of the city of Nacogdoches, staying south of the city of Mount Enterprise. We'll go ahead and put a fancy super duper awesome blossom measuring tool on here. So this is circulation crossing 259 now, about 7 miles south of Mount Enterprise, or 84 and 259. If you want to be really specific, this is way north of Nacogdoches. We're talking about 15 miles north of Nacogdoches. But we'll go ahead and say from Garrison, this is about 10 miles west of Garrison. And for those of you in Tipson, this is still about 16 miles to your southwest, moving northeast at 30 to 35 miles per hour. So if this little circulation were to stick together, it could impact areas closer to Tipson in about 20 to 30 minutes. But as it stands now, latest radar scan came in a little more defined now than it was a couple of minutes ago. You'll note that the circulation is now what we call gate to gate. We've got red right up against green, and that's just the radar determining we have strong, relatively concise rotation. Now, it's not the strongest rotation we've seen. Those of you who've watched our coverage previously may know we've had rotations well over 100 miles per hour. This is just about 50 to 60 miles per hour. So again, in all likelihood, if we do have a brief tornado underway, it is probably on the weak side and probably won't be down very long. It may be of a hopscotching. How about scotching? Yeah, I don't know. I tried. It's what happens when you don't have enough coffee in the morning. But again, this is probably skipping up and down if we do indeed have a tornado down at all. But again, strong rotation, and certainly strong enough to support the possibility we could have a brief tornado touchdown. We're looking for a debris signature. We don't have anything there. We'd be looking for a blue donut in conjunction with that strong circulation on radar. And again, no blue donut, meaning the radar is not detecting debris. Now, that doesn't mean we haven't had a brief tornado touchdown at any point. It simply means the debris is not being lofted up to the radar beam's height, and if we had a tornado down at all. And in terms of the radar beam height, let me see, we're looking at about 4,000 to 4,300 feet above the ground here. So, again, most of the very weak tornadoes that are only down for a minute or two are not going to be able to loft debris that high. Farther away you get from the radar site, the higher up the radar beam becomes. Radar beam goes straight out from the radar site while the Earth curves. So farther away you get from the radar beam, the higher up the radar beam becomes from the ground, which is why you want to have a radar as close by as possible so you get a good low-level scan, a good low-level look at the thunderstorm. So again, a possible tornado on Camp Tonkawa Road, moving northeast away from Highway 259 now, probably about 1 to 2 miles east of 259. This is going to be moving up towards County Road 3267 in southern Rusk County. That's County Road 153 in Nacogdoches County. Eventually, this could impact County Road 3262, 3268, 3191, 3257, 3282, 3281, and I'm just listing out county road names at this point that are southeast of Mount Enterprise and still west of Tipson. You can see we've got a new scan from the velocity data. Looks like a little stronger. And again, still concise enough to support the possibility of a brief tornado. Those of you who've watched our live coverage previously know that we don't hold punches when it comes to, talking about stronger tornadoes, longer lived tornadoes. But we also, don't lose our head over every tornado warning. You need to act, you need to pay attention, but I'm not going to try and scare the pants off you unnecessarily. I'm just going to give you the information, and it's up to you to decide what you do with it. So again, the possibility of a brief tornado in the proximity of Camp Tonkawa Road, now likely just east of County Road 149 and 145. Going to be coming up on County Road 153 in northern Nacogdoches County, but eventually moving into southern Rusk County, and that'll be County Roads 3267, 3268, 3262, 3266, 3191. And then eventually, in probably 15 minutes, 3257, 3282, 3281, and 3280. I'm purposely naming multiple roads here to try and give folks who live out this way an idea of where this possible brief tornado may be. We have not had any sort of debris signature, which is always a good thing. We'd be looking for a blue donut near the strongest rotation. Not seeing a blue donut, we'll switch over to the how hard it's raining mode. You can see this is not a particularly large thunderstorm. It's not a classic looking supercell. What we're dealing with here is more of a mini supercell in an environment with limited instability, but a ton of wind shear, both directional and in terms of speed shear. So that's why, with a lot of spin available for these showers and thunderstorms, some of this activity is managing to try and spin up. And technically, this has not produced any cloud-to-ground lightning recently, so, I mean, if you wanted to consider it a shower, you could. Nevertheless, we're just going to call it a thunderstorm because it's my video and I get to do what I want, so I'm going to call it a video. Or call it a video. How about call it a thunderstorm? Yeah, I'm going to need more coffee. So again, this possible tornado is about to move into Rusk County from Nacogdoches County. If you are in Trewick, we'll give you an all clear. This is well northeast of Trewick now. It's going to be crossing over Highway 84 between Mount Enterprise and Tipson, probably very near the county line of Rusk and Shelby counties, and eventually, if this were to continue, it could approach Gary City and Panola County. But again, that is to be determined if this is able to maintain its circulation or if it conks out and we are able to dispose of this tornado warning by 11 a.m. We'll see. So again, this is the only tornado warning we have. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning. It's from near Wascom now to northeast of DeBerry on 79. This is for a thunderstorm capable of producing outflow winds, straight line winds of about 50 to 60 miles per hour. And that's quickly moving into the Louisiana portion and Shreveport Metro. So that will be out of our neck of the woods. And that leaves us with one severe thunderstorm, which is this thunderstorm capable of producing what is probably a brief, weak tornado. And again, just because I'm saying brief and weak does not mean it is not threatening. EF0, EF1 tornadoes knock down trees, damage roofs, knock trees down on houses, and will still probably destroy trailers. So again, if we have one tornado day and it comes down your road, it's not going to be a great day. So we encourage you all to take these warnings seriously whenever they're issued and enact your tornado safety plan. That's lowest floor, center room, away from windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. And kind of irrelevant at this point, but if you are in a trailer west of Tipson, east of Mount Enterprise, we'd encourage you to leave and go to a nearby site-built structure. You don't want to be in a trailer during a tornado. It's just pretty much the worst place you can be. So you're better off being in a ditch outside, honestly, because, well, if you're inside a trailer that gets picked up by a tornado, it's not a great place to be. So we'll switch back over to the how hard it's raining mode, and again, this small thunderstorm now near County Road 3267. It's crossed into southeastern Rusk County, so Nacogdoches County. you are pretty much done with this specific thunderstorm. The threat of a tornado has now shifted into southeastern Rusk County. There are other thunderstorms, mind you. This one southwest of Nacogdoches is showing broad rotation aloft. Nothing concise enough to support a tornado warning, but again, it's going to be the name of the game for the next couple of hours, where some of these showers may show strong enough rotation for a time to produce a brief tornado. And that's what we're dealing with this shower or thunderstorm. That's on County Road 3267, and that'll be moving up northeast at about 30 miles per hour. Let's go ahead and put a storm track on this. We'll just see where this may end up over the next hour. I'm not saying it's going to be tornadic over the next hour, but it just lets us see where it may be heading. Let me go ahead and redo that. I might have gotten the speed wrong. Alright, so moving in this general direction, at about, I'm going to do 35. You could generally see if this thunderstorm were to continue over the next 1 hour, this is where it would end up, essentially. It would be passing, obviously, over 84 between Mount Enterprise and Tipson. It may be passing very close to Gary City here in about 25 minutes. That'd be about 11:05 a.m. And that is in southern Panola County. So if this thunderstorm continues to show strong rotation, Weather Service may extend this tornado warning into northwestern Shelby and southern Panola counties within the next 10 minutes or so. We'll just have to wait and see. But as we head back down, take a zoomed in look and take a peek at the which way the wind's blowing mode, we still have that area of more concise rotation. Now, it's not screaming strong, but I mean, it's enough. We've got about 25 to 30 moving towards the radar in Shreveport, about 30, 35 moving away. So again, that's about 50 to 60 mile an hour gate to gate shear. Certainly what could be a brief tornado that has been touching down, lifting, touching down, etc. I don't think we're going to have long-lived tornadoes today, but again, if a tornado's down for 1 or 2 minutes and it manages to visit your property, it's going to be a big deal. So again, we want no travel on Highway 84 between the city of Mount Enterprise and Tipson. We don't want anyone probably going between Gary City down to Mount Enterprise right now, as this possible tornado is probably on County Road 3191 right now. Moving northeast, it's going to be crossing over County Road 3262 next, then County Road 3261, 3257, eventually coming up onto Highway 84, very near the Rusk Shelby County line. And again, the Weather Service in Shreveport is going to have a decision to make in the next few minutes on whether they keep this tornado warning going and extend it up towards Tipson, Gary City, and maybe south side of Carthage. You'll see they have just trimmed Nacogdoches County out of the tornado warning. So if you are in Cushing, Trowick, Appleby, Garrison, Nacogdoches, you're not in a tornado warning anymore. You may go about your business. The possibility of a brief tornado will be crossing Highway 84 within the next 5 minutes, coming up on 3261. Now, that scan that just came in is pretty concise there. It did just get a little stronger again. We'll switch to the debris mode. We do not see debris being lofted. But again, that is a pretty good circulation showing up. Winds moving towards the radar in Shreveport about 33, moving away at about 37. So again, that's increased. We're up to about 70 miles an hour now, gate to gate. So potential for a tornado seems to be increasing here as this possible tornado approaches Highway 84 near County Road 3261. In terms of distances, that would place it about 6 to 7 miles east of the city of Mount Enterprise. And about 9 to 10 miles west of Tipson. So again, those of you on Highway 84 between Mount Enterprise and Tipson need to be in a safe place. It's going to be lowest floor, center room, Away from windows, you want to put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Don't go outside looking for this. First off, there's trees everywhere. Second off, it's probably wrapped in rain. I'd rather you go and take shelter, and, you know, if you get video off a doorbell camera or something, good for you, but it's not worth getting $5 of money from YouTube. So again, this is the only severe thunderstorm now in the state of Texas. We're going to be keeping an eye out on some of these other storms. We do note a pretty good surge of wind, it looks like, coming up on Highway 79, several miles northeast of near DeBerry, or just northeast of DeBerry. We note a new tornado warning has now been issued. This is going to be a tornado warning until 11:30 a.m. for southwestern Panola, southeastern Rusk, and northwestern Shelby counties. And again, until 11:30. This is going to be a possible tornado located 7 miles northwest of Garrison, or 21 miles northeast of Nacogdoches, moving northeast of 30 miles per hour. So again, this tornado warning does technically include Clayton, Gary City, the city of Carthage, and areas just northwest of Tipson. So again, those of you in Gary City, Carthage, we'll just say Tipson, but mainly north of Tipson, over to Clayton, need to go ahead and move to your safe place. That's going to be lowest floor, center room, away from windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. If you are in a sturdy site-built structure, if you are in a mobile home or trailer, you need to evacuate that immediately and move to a site-built structure. Whether that be a gas station or restaurant, a neighbor's house, etc., you do not need to be in a mobile home or trailer. In fact, that's the worst place you can be in a tornado. Even weak tornadoes will destroy most trailers and mobile homes. Trailers and mobile homes are beautiful places to live, but they do not handle well in significant severe weather. So let's switch back over to the which way the wind's blowing mode. That area of strong rotation now coming up on County Road 3257 up to Highway 84. We'll do another probe on this. We've got winds moving towards the radar about 30, moving away about 37. So that's a little weaker than last scan, but again, nitpicking between 60 and 70 miles an hour. Doesn't really do much. Still evidence of strong rotation of what could be a brief tornado that's been hopscotching around. So again, in all likelihood, given the radar data is about 2 minutes old, this possible tornado is probably located on Highway 84 now. It's about 10 miles west of the city of Tipson, or about 7 to 8 miles east of Mount Enterprise. It's going to be moving northeast at 30 miles per hour. Assuming present trek continues, this possible tornado will be in Gary City in about 20 minutes. That's about 11:10, 11:11 a.m. Thereafter, this possible tornado could be near or just southeast of the city of Carthage, crossing over Highway 59 at about 11:20. That's in 30 minutes. So at this point, given the tornado warning polygon does include Highway 59, we would advise no travel between the city of Carthage and Tenaha, or Tenaha, on Highway 59 for the next 45 minutes until this dangerous thunderstorm moves to the northeast. Highway 84, we don't want anyone on that right now. Possible tornado would have just crossed over 84, and if we did have a tornado down, it is likely put some trees down on the highway. We don't want folks, again, trying to go out and look for this. It's probably wrapped in rain if we do have a tornado down. You saw the latest scan coming there. We'll switch back over to the which way the wind's blowing mode. We'll get a new scan in just a moment. I'm going to start putting some additional road names on here. So it's going to be coming up to County Road 4868 in northwestern Shelby County, far northwestern Shelby County, and then County Road 182 in Panola County. You've got County Road 175, County Road 414, that leads into Gary City. Just going to get some road labels on here now while I'm got this up. So again, I'm just trying to put as many road labels on here as I can so folks might recognize a local street. Possible tornado now located just north of Highway 84, probably a mile northeast of County Road 3261. This will be crossing over County Road 3251 in far southeastern Rusk County, and then moving into far northwestern Shelby County, crossing over County Road 4868, which turns into County Road 182 in far southwestern Panola County. This is a tornado warning until 11:30 a.m. for southwestern Panola County, southeastern Rusk County, and far northwestern Shelby County. I'm going to go ahead and turn off radar data for a second. I want to tell you who's in this tornado warning and who's not. These are polygons. They're not county-based anymore. So let's talk about it since we have 3 counties included. Center, Tenaha or Tenaha, Tipson, Garrison, Appleby, Mount Enterprise. You are not in this tornado warning. You may go about your day as you see fit. Carthage, Gary City, Clayton on 315, areas just north of Tipson, are in this tornado warning. Other folks included include Dotson, Woods, and Lawsonville. So if you're in the tornado warning, you need to take action. That's lowest floor, center room, away from windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. And we've got the warning scroll going here on the bottom of the screen. So again, let's turn radar data back on here. And this is the only severe thunderstorm we're dealing with in the state of Texas right now. We'll switch back over to the which way the wind's blowing mode. Here you go. Circulation, possible tornado coming up on the Panola, Shelby, Rusk County lines, moving northeast at 30 miles an hour. So this is going to be crossing over 182, 4868 in the next several minutes. And then it'll be crossing into Panola County. So in all likelihood, the tornado warnings for Rusk and Shelby counties will be gone within 10 minutes by 11:05, and this will be solely a Panola County issue, and southern Panola County at that. So again, this tornado warning does include the city of Carthage, all the way down Highway 59 to north of Tenaha, or Tenaha. Tenaha. It includes areas north of Tipson, Gary City, southeast of Clayton. In terms of some of the county roads out here, county roads 182, 175, 119, 1244, 414, 421, all the way to Highway 59 up to the city of Carthage, Highway 315 southwest of Clayton from Carthage. You're in this tornado warning. If you're north of Tipson, north of Highway 59, you need to be in a safe place, as this thunderstorm, capable of producing a brief tornado, continues moving to the northeast at 30 miles per hour. We'll take a look out, and again, we do not have any other severe thunderstorms. We'll do a statewide view real quick. Let's see if I can hit this button without it blowing up in my face. That's a highly improbable issue to have, but you know what? Sometimes you got to smile and wave and hope the satellite loads. You can see we are not going to be dealing with storms very long here in East Texas. You can see back west, we've already cleared out. This is as a cool front and dry line move to the east pretty quickly. Chance for showers and a couple storms will continue this afternoon in southeast Texas, the Golden Triangle, but for our friends in East Texas, this is going to be done by probably 1 or 2 o'clock, if not noon to 1. then we have the threat for a significant wildfire problem across the western two-thirds of Texas, unfortunately. Very dry air coming on in, gusty west winds, plummeting humidity values, and obviously, dormant surface fuels. So, real quick, I'm going to switch to a product that'll show us any hot spots. Oops, excuse me. And I'm just looking real quick. I don't see any hotspots showing up on satellite data yet. That is good. But let's go ahead and get back to tracking the reason we're here, and that is a tornado warning until 11:30 a.m. for southern Panola, northwestern Shelby, and a sliver of southeastern Rusk counties in East Texas. It's worth noting if this storm were to continue, it could be an issue for the southern Shreveport metro in about 90 to 120 minutes. But as it stands now, the possibility of a tornado now north of Highway 84. Let's see how far northwest of Tipson this is. We'll put it here about 7 miles northwest of Tipson, about 30 miles north of Highway 84, making a beeline towards Gary City. This is probably about 9 miles now southwest of Gary City. This will be crossing over County Road 4868 in northwestern Shelby County. County Road 182 is what it changes to in southern Panola County. And latest scan definitely shows an uptick in velocity. You'll see it here in just a second, but I'd say the probability of a tornado is probably about as high as it's been over the last 30 to 45 minutes with this thunderstorm. You can see the latest scan just came in now 9 miles southwest of Gary City. Winds moving towards the radar at about 30 to 35 miles per hour. Winds moving away at about same speed. But it's the very concise nature of this circulation that really gets my attention. Notice how it's bright green against bright red. No debris signature showing up. Reflectivity, not a typical looking supercell, but definitely a signature that would support the possibility of a brief tornado spin-up. So those of you in Gary City, those of you in Clayton, those of you in the city of Carthage, technically, are in this tornado warning. Those of you in Lawsonville, Woods, and Dotson are also in this tornado warning. This will probably stay just south of the city of Carthage, but we want folks south of 315 and west of 59, southwest of Carthage, Gary City, Clayton, north of Highway 59, from north of Tipson, northwest of Tenaha, especially if you are in Panola County, to be in a safe place. And again, it's going to be lowest floor, center room, away from windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. We don't want you trying to go outside and look for this thing. If you are in a mobile home or trailer, you need to evacuate that immediately and move to a safer location. Site-built structure, whether it be a neighbor's house, a restaurant, hotel, gas station, etc., or you just drive out of the way. That's better than being in a trailer or mobile home during a tornado. I don't expect this is going to be a widespread issue today in terms of tornadoes in East Texas, but again, this storm could produce a brief tornado as it moves into southern Panola County over the next 5 minutes. We'll get an updated radar scan here in just a minute that'll show us the latest location, but in all likelihood, this possible tornado is now coming up on County Road 180 near County Road 179, eventually coming up to 177 and 175. I realize 99.9% of people watching this probably have no idea where I'm talking about, naming these county roads or talking about Carthage, etc. But if you live here, you do. So that's who I'm talking to here. And again, we cover the most dangerous thunderstorms here. I've realized there's a broken line of showers and storms in East Texas, but we need to cover the storms that are most life-threatening. So that's why we're here covering a tornado warning for another 30 minutes for portions of southern Panola, far northwestern Shelby, and far northeastern Rusk counties, or eastern, southeastern, the little boot heel of Rusk County. And again, within 5 minutes, this is going to be solely in Panola County, and they'll be able to let the tornado warnings for Rusk and Shelby counties go. But again, We continue to see signs of a possible tornado coming up on County Road 180 in far southwestern Panola County. This is going to now be coming towards Gary City. Nope. Bad. This is now probably about 6 miles southwest of Gary City, moving northeast at 30 miles per hour. Gary City, this will be near you at about 11:10. This will be crossing over Highway 59 at about 11:20. Near or south of the city of Carthage. I definitely say those of you south of 315 and south of 79, at least near Carthage, have a higher threat of having to deal with this. But if it continues moving northeast, it could be an issue for areas east of Highway 59 all the way to the Louisiana border. But that's just something we're going to have to wait and see. But again, and for those of you using our website or mobile app radar, I do apologize. It looks like the provider of that data has had a boo-boo this morning. By a boo-boo, it looks like their whole system is just utterly melting down. I'm hoping that's an issue they'll have fixed today. But, you know, sometimes life happens at the most inopportune time. But I do apologize for that issue. Obviously, we don't want it to happen, but what can you do? So again, this possible tornado now coming up on County Road 179, County Road 177, 175 in far southwestern Panola counties. Panola counties. How about we use the proper terminology and say county when talking about a singular county? And this is moving northeast about 30 miles an hour. We're still getting a strong circulation showing up. Latest scan just came in. Looks a little broader there, but again, this has just been we have not had any ground reports of a tornado or damage, but the rotation is certainly strong enough to support the possibility of a brief, weak tornado, and that's why we're here with the possibility of a brief tornado. Looks like the Weather Service has just updated the tornado warning. That'll show up here in a moment. And it looks like Shelby and Rusk counties will be out of the tornado warning, and it'll be down to Panola County, southern Panola County. So again, if you are in Rusk or Shelby counties, you're good to go. If you are in Tipson, Tenaha, Mount Enterprise, you're good to go. If you're in Gary City up to Carthage, you need to remain in a safe place. It's going to be lowest floor. Set a room away from windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. So again, if we have a tornado down, it is probably 5 miles southwest of Gary City now, moving northeast at 30. Put another storm track on this. I'm going to switch back to the how hard it's raining mode. You'll notice I gave it a bit of extra room. Let's do that. The latest storm track. And again, Gary City in the next 5 minutes. Highway 59, probably by 11:15 from near Carthage, maybe a few miles south of Carthage. But again, Gary City, city of Carthage are in a tornado warning until 11:30 a.m. This is for Panola County. At 11:03 a.m., a possible tornado is located north of Tipson, 12 miles southwest of Carthage or 6 miles southwest of Gary City, moving northeast at 30 miles per hour. It's had a report of a wall cloud from emergency management, so the storm is definitely demonstrating strong low-level rotation. And it wouldn't shock me if this storm has been producing or may produce a brief tornado shortly, which is why we're here. and talking about it. We'll switch back over to the which way the wind's blowing mode. Should be coming over County Road 175 now. That'll place it about 5 to 6 miles southwest of Gary City. Or about 10 to 11 miles southwest of Carthage. You'll notice I'm giving this a little extra room. That's because the data you're looking at here is about 2 to 3 minutes old. So considering the storm's moving at about 30 miles an hour, it's always good to extrapolate. So we're probably about 4 miles southwest of Gary City now, moving northeast at about 30 miles per hour. We'll start putting some more county roads on here. This is probably over 175 or just past 175 now. You can see the latest scan just came in. We'll be coming up to Private Road 5241, County Road 176, County Road 119, Davis Street. Well, I'm honored. County Road 119, County Road 121, County Road 115, County Road 403, County Road 421, 422, County Road 122, and etc. And obviously I'm just trying to name as many of these small county roads as I can, since folks who live there will know what county roads I'm talking about. If you don't live there, you probably have no idea what I'm talking about, outside of me saying near Carthage, Texas, Far East Texas. But again, we're here to talk about and cover a tornado warning. This is for Panola County until 11:30 a.m. A possible tornado now located about 3 to 4 miles west of Gary City, moving northeast at 30 miles an hour. And again, this tornado warning does include the city of Carthage, running down Highway 59 to just north of the Shelby County line. We advise no travel on Highway 59 from Carthage down to Tenaha until this thunderstorm moves east of Highway 59 in the next 25 minutes. We don't want folks going southwest of Carthage to Gary City right now. Technically, I wouldn't advise going between Clayton and Carthage on 315 either. And if this thunderstorm were to continue, it would probably be a good idea not to be on 79 northeast of Carthage. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at a new thunderstorm south. This one is going to be back in northeastern Nacogdoches County, moving up towards western Shelby County. This one's starting to show some more rotation aloft. It's not as defined and concise as the storm further north yet, but if we follow the traditional methodology where the southern storms tend to be the more organized, this may be our next candidate to get a tornado warning. And again, this would be for a thunderstorm near Highway 59, about 2 miles northeast of Appleby, moving towards Garrison and Tipson. And again, we'll see. We may end up with a tornado warning with that at some point in the next 10 to 15 minutes. So those of you in northeastern Nacogdoches County, northwestern Shelby County, I realize y'all just had a tornado warning a bit earlier, but it looks like this storm between Appleby and Garrison is starting to become a little more defined. This is about 3 miles southwest of Garrison, moving northeast at 30 miles an hour. So if this does continue to organize, we may see a tornado warning issued, and that would include Garrison, Tipson, maybe Tenaha in northwestern Shelby County. So we're going to keep an eye on that storm. We don't have a warning on it right now, but I wouldn't be too shocked if we end up needing one in the next 5 to 10 minutes if that rotation continues to uptick. Otherwise, we are starting to see a downward trend on the rotation near Gary City. Definitely less organized than 5 minutes ago. And what we might have happening here is, let me get my magic marker of life out. This storm may be starting to get seeded, or maybe have some of its energy taken away by this new storm that is definitely starting to look more organized. So if that happens, we might see a handoff occur where this storm near Garrison becomes our new candidate for spinny mischief, while this circulation near Gary City tries to trend downward. Not saying that's what's going to happen, but I'm just theorizing here. based on what we have seen at times. All right, button. It's a button. All right, so what I'm going to do real quick is streams aren't going anywhere, but I'm going to take 2 minutes here to go grab my water bottle before my throat goes out. So, we're going to be right back. Streams aren't going anywhere. I'm just not going to be talking for a minute or two. So, again, we'll be right back. But in summary, possible tornado located 2 miles west of Gary City. Having to watch an area of new rotation developing about 2 miles southwest of Garrison in northeastern Nacogdoches County. That may need a tornado warning shortly. If so, that would be up towards Garrison to Tipson, up 59 in northwestern Shelby County. So, again, we're going to be right back. Streams aren't going anywhere. You're just not going to hear me for about 2 minutes. All right, and we are back. My apologies. All right. It is 11:15 a.m. I'm Texas Storm Chasers Baldy in Chief David Reimer monitoring 2 areas of rotation, one of which has a tornado warning. Area near Gary City definitely is looking much less organized now. That might be falling apart as we head into, hi Ben, Merry Christmas, far northeastern Nacogdoches County towards Garrison. This might be our new storm of interest, starting to show some increased mid-level rotation. We're going to have to watch that closely as it moves northeast towards Tipson up Highway 59. So again, watching two storms right now over the next 5 minutes, or next 5 minutes, last 5 minutes. How about both? Area near Gary City, still tornado warned, but definitely has fallen apart over the last 10 minutes now. If that continues, we will probably see that tornado warning gone. But we might see a new area of rotation or a next storm to watch near Garrison, and that be moving northeast towards Tipson. Always enjoyable when Facebook decides to throttle severe weather coverage. That's not a surprise to anyone. So again, watching two storms right now. One is near Gary City, and that's going to be moving northeast towards Highway 59 south of Carthage, northeast of Gary City. We'll need to keep an eye on this storm just in case the circulation tries to spin back up. It still has an interesting shape on radar. And then we're also watching an area of developing circulation near Garrison, and that would be moving northeast towards Tipson and Tenaha. So again, we're not expecting long-lived, mile-wide tornadoes today, but nevertheless, if we have brief tornadoes touch down for a minute or two and it comes down your block, well, that's going to be a problem. So that is why we're here. And I do apologize for the radar outage on our website and mobile app. Unfortunately, that has nothing to do with us and everything to do with the data provider for that service. So I promise I'm not the one who went in and broke it this time. You can't blame Baldy and Chief for that. I may break a lot of stuff, but that wasn't my doing this morning. But we'll get that resolved. Hopefully, the developer will today. But again, watching two storms, one tornado warning. We have a tornado warning for Panola County, southern Panola County, until 11:30 a.m. That's for a possible brief tornado coming up on County Road 122 and Highway 59 now. Circulation, thankfully, looks much less organized than it did about 10 minutes ago, but it is still there, and we need to make sure it doesn't attempt to redevelop. This storm's still rotating quite a bit aloft, but the low-level circulation has definitely become more broad and is weakened over the last 10 minutes. But that doesn't mean the storm is done. It might just be going through a cycle. You have to watch these things just to simply determine their behavior sometimes. Sometimes they're one and done. Sometimes they can, cycle up, produce a brief tornado, cycle down, look like manure for a little while, and then suddenly they go, whoop-de-doo, we are going to do it again. When you expect storms to do one thing, usually they'll find a way to do the complete and utter opposite, because Mother Nature likes to make us look like fools and, like sticking her tongue out and go, or at least she does to me. That's how I feel, at least, but maybe I'm just taking it too personally. Anyway, we do have one tornado warning for another 10 minutes for southern and central Panola County. We'll see if the Weather Service extends that past Carthage. And then we are watching a thunderstorm that is showing some stronger rotation now aloft, now about 3 miles northeast of Garrison. This would be a threat to possibly Tipson and Tenaha over the next 15 minutes as this thunderstorm moves to the northeast at 30 miles an hour. But at this point, the Weather Service does not have a tornado warning on that. Nevertheless, don't be surprised if we end up with a short fuse tornado warning for places like Tipson, Tenaha, over to maybe Logansport over the next couple of minutes in northern Shelby and southern Panola
Counties.
And again, we're not going to completely discount this little stormy southeast of Carthage at this point yet either. While the low-level rotation looks like doggy-doo, the rotation in the mid-levels continues to look impressive. So we'll just keep an eye on it and make sure everything is hunky-dory. We don't want any surprises from Mama Nature. Nothing good usually happens in that department. Now, let me cycle this. Radar data on here has been a little slow to update. There we go. Again, that's the latest velocity scan, and again, that's closest to the surface, but if we look up, which is what I'm doing now, I'm tilting the radar beam up, you can see we're still seeing stronger rotation several thousand feet above the surface. So we'll keep an eye on that for sure. Same thing goes for this booger southwest of Tipson, east-northeast of Garrison, and southwest by a good distance of Tenaha. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing it both ways, and I'm sure I'll get a lecture about it. And I do appreciate the phonics lessons in the chats, by the way. I'm unfortunately not able to monitor the chat in real time during tornado coverage, but I go back and look. And please understand, it's just the fact I didn't learn how to say R's until 5th grade. For example, the word Robert, I would say Wobert, and mix it up with W. So it goes without saying, my ability to decipher the fine details of some phonics isn't necessarily at the highest tier. But if you want to make fun of me, you can do that too. Make a drinking game out of it, I guess. I have caffeine, so I'll just drink some caffeine. And while we have y'all here, let's go ahead and take a statewide view. Our severe weather threat should be mostly done by 2 p.m. in East Texas, but then we're going to have to shift our focus back west because we're going to be dealing with a far more widespread wildfire threat. And we'll head on over to the Texas view now and take a look at that. Satellite, you can see we are clearing out across the western two-thirds of Texas. I'll turn the wind direction on here. You can see we've got strong westerly winds coming on into, well, pretty much the western two-thirds of Texas, filtering in dry air. You can see the skies are clear. Relative humidity values are plummeting. And if I pause this, switch over to a product called hotspot detector, we'd just be looking for any sort of hotspots here. We're going to be on fire watch later. So we're going to possibly tornadic thunderstorms to, watch it for wildfires, given the strong west winds, plummeting humidities below 30%, and the dormant winter fuels. It is definitely a concern. We could be dealing with fast-moving wildfires this afternoon across the western two-thirds of Texas. So it's winter. Usually if we're dealing with something like storms in East Texas, we're going to be dealing with the threat of fires or a snowstorm in West Texas. It ain't snowing today, so it's fire day. It may snow on Saturday, though. All right, back over to the which way the wind is blowing mode. Honestly, in terms of low-level rotation, this thing southeast of Carthage right now looks much more disorganized than it did, but it is still rotating strongly about 2,000 feet up. As long as it stays 2,000 feet up, I'm okay with it. It's when you get below that and, down to the ground, aka a tornado, when we have problems. Now, looking at this circulation near Tipson, this storm, notice how it's kind of out by itself, unimpeded inflow. It's got more access to unstable air and higher moisture. This one we're probably going to need to watch for signs of strengthening rotation. But at this time, it doesn't seem to be strong enough to warrant a tornado warning. And frankly, same thing goes for this northern cell right now. I don't think we're going to see a new tornado warning extended on this unless it strengthens. And we all know this routine. Those of you who've watched me long enough know the minute I say we're able to go off air, I'm usually back on within 5 minutes because something strengthened and, start a new stream. But hopefully, we'll be able to go back to regular programming, which for us is simply not broadcasting my face all over the internet when this tornado warning expires at 11:30. So again, if there was a tornado down, and at this point I think it is highly unlikely there is a tornado, it would be about 4 miles southeast of Carthage, moving to the northeast. Technically not even in the tornado warning polygon anymore. So let's go ahead and do this. If you're in Gary City, you're clear. If you're in Carthage, technically 4 more minutes, but the threat of a tornado at this point would be about 5 miles east southeast of Carthage, moving away from Carthage. Use your best judgment. And then we're going to keep watching this circulation with this little baby thunderstorm southeast of Tipson. It's weak rotation for now, but we'll keep an eye on it just in case it wants to become mischievous before it exits the state line, because that would probably happen just to, keep me on here and y'all getting a look at my bald mug for a little while longer. So again, the time is 11:27 a.m. It is the 18th of January, 2023. I'm Texas Storm Chasers Baldy-in-Chief David Reimer. We are covering a couple of tornado warnings this morning in Far East Texas. We're probably going to be down to 0 tornado warnings here in about 2.5 minutes unless something changes, and it probably will, because Mother Nature does what Mother Nature does, and that is often to troll me. So let's switch back over to the which way the wind's blowing mode. Not seeing anything in the low levels with this storm southeast of Carthage. I find it highly unlikely we're going to get a tornado warning out of that again anytime soon. This one southeast of Tipson, on the other hand, is getting awfully close to trying to become mischievous. So we're going to keep an eye on this as well. This is in the low, about, I'm going to say low levels. Let's just look and see what radar beam height we have here. We're looking at about 2,800 feet above the ground. So again, as long as that stays aloft, we're okay with it. But again, that's probably getting closer to the point where we might see a tornado warning issued. So we're going to stick with this for just a few more minutes to see how this goes. If it trends up, I fully expect a new tornado warning just for this thunderstorm. If it can trend down, hey, you know what? That would be great. We're just going to have to wait and see. At this point, we should be down to no tornado warnings in about 73 seconds. The rest of this activity across East Texas, let me turn off that. We'll switch to the regional radar. You can see where the cold front is pretty accurately, dryline cool front, extending from near, LaGrange up to Madisonville, over to Longview, but technically Marshall, up into now southwestern Arkansas. The threat for a couple of severe storms will continue for a couple of more hours. Goodness, my grammar is pathetically nasty today. We'll see the threat for isolated severe weather continue for a few more hours in the Piney Woods of East Texas and Southeast Texas. This is the latest severe weather outlook from the Storm Prediction Center. We'll try and get the tornado outlook to load. And again, this is the tornado outlook, mainly for the next few hours for us in Texas. You can see we have a very low to locally low tornado threat across East Texas. And based on the latest radar scan, I think we are going to need a new tornado warning. So we're not going to go anywhere. We're going to stay right here. I think this storm... Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say this. There's no tornado warning yet, but those of you east of Tipson, southwest of Tenaha, or Tenaha, and northwest of Center, I'd recommend you go ahead and take your tornado safety precautions just to be safe. My chair does not want to lock. So again, if you are east of Tipson by like 2 miles to near Tenaha or Tenaha or on 84, I'd go ahead and take your tornado safety precautions. We've got rotation moving away from the radar at about 35, moving towards the radar at about 42, so about 75 to 80 mile an hour wind shear. Pretty strong circulation. I think we're probably going to need a tornado warning on this. Nevertheless, there is not a tornado warning at this moment. We don't issue the tornado warnings. That's the National Weather Service's job, and I certainly don't find myself arrogant enough to make up my own tornado warnings. But just for good measure, I wouldn't think it'd be a bad idea for those of you east of Tipson, in and west of Tenaha to Tenaha, all the way up in the far southern Panola County to go ahead and take your tornado safety precautions. That's northern Shelby and southern Panola counties. Possible, maybe a a brief tornado might be coming up near Highway 59, County Road 4260, County Road 4699. 4694, and we do now have a tornado warning, so we're not going anywhere. This is going to be a new tornado warning until 12:15 p.m. for northern Shelby, southeastern Panola counties in East Texas. At 11:31 a.m., a possible tornado is located a couple miles east of Tipson or near Highway 59 and County Road 4260. This is going to be about 12 miles northwest of Center, or about 6 miles west-southwest of Tenaha, moving northeast at 35 to 40 miles an hour, so a bit faster than the other one. And again, this is a possible tornado coming up on Highway 59 now, about 6 miles west of Tenaha, about 3 to 4 miles east-northeast of Tipson. So we definitely don't want anyone traveling on Highway 59 between Tenaha and Tipson. In fact, I'd say don't be on 59 between Logansport and Tipson at this point. And then we don't want anyone traveling in southeastern Panola County either. This new tornado warning will not include Carthage or DeBary. This tornado warning, pretty much we don't want folks going on 59 between Tipson and the North Toledo Bend Reservoir, or the wildlife area there, Logansport. We don't want anyone on 59 from south of Carthage to north of Center. And this possible tornado is coming up on Highway 59. This is going to be passing very close to Tenaha within the next 10 minutes. So again, we encourage folks to enact your tornado safety plans if you are in northern Shelby and southeastern Panola counties. If you're in a sturdy site-built structure, that's going to be lowest floor, center room, away from windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. If you are in a trailer or mobile home, you need to evacuate it immediately. You're better off going to a neighbor's house that's site-built and sturdy, a gas station, a fast food restaurant, or if you really have to, you're better off just getting out of the way than staying in a mobile home. Obviously, you don't want to be in a car in a tornado, but frankly, you don't want to be in a mobile home or trailer. It's just not a good idea. So do what you need to do to protect you and your family. But again, a tornado warning for the possibility of a brief tornado now about 5 miles southwest of Tenaha, or about 4 to 5 miles northeast of Tipson on Highway 59, moving northeast at 35 to 40 miles an hour. This is going to be in Tenaha, crossing over 59 by 11:40, so probably within the next 5 minutes. After that, it's going to be moving into rural areas of far northeastern Shelby and southeastern Panola counties. And I'll get some road labels on here. As I do that, again, this is a tornado warning until 12:15 for far northern Shelby and southeastern Panola counties in East Texas. This is for a possible brief tornado about 4 miles southwest of Tenaha on Highway 59, moving northeast at 35 miles per hour. The previous storm that we were watching now northeast of Carthage is all but fallen apart. So that is the good news in that department. So again, a tornado warning until 12:15 p.m. for northern Shelby and southeastern Panola counties in East Texas. Switch over to the which way the wind's blowing mode, and again, this possible tornado is getting closer to Tenaha now, about 3 miles west of Tenaha, right on Highway 59. So those of you in Tenaha need to be in a safe place. Lowest floor, center room, away from windows. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. This is northeast of Tipson now. If you're in Tipson, you're clear. This tornado warning does not include Center, does not include Carthage, does not include Gary City, does not include DeBerry, Beckville, Tatum, etc. Remember, these warnings these days are issued by polygons. They're not county-based. So while there are a couple of counties in the tornado warning polygon, it only includes small slivers of those counties. So if you're in the polygon, you need to take action. If you're not in the polygon, go about your day. And have a good day, for that matter. But again, we're here. A possible brief tornado 2 to 3 miles west of Tenaha. That'll be crossing Highway 59, probably very near Tenaha and Highway 84, and then moving into rural areas of southeastern Panola County. This one's moving northeast at about 40 miles an hour, so a bit faster than our earlier storm. Fortunately, it looks like our interactive weather radar on our website and mobile app are not working due to an outage with our data vendor. I promise I'm not the one who broke it today, but we'll get that fixed ASAP. I know it's about as good timing as having to go to the dentist, but meh. Life happens. Okay, so if you're in Tenaha, you need to be in a safe place, lowest floor, center room, away from windows, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. This is the only severe weather warning we have in the state of Texas, and this is in East Texas. If you are in the western 75% of Texas, you're not dealing with severe storms today. In fact, it's probably sunny and windy by now. We're going to be worried about wildfires this afternoon with strong west winds up to 45 miles an hour, humidity going below 25%, dormant winter fuels, and I mean, all that sunshine. So you're not dealing with spinny doom from tornadoes, but you might have to deal with flaming tumbleweeds later and blowing dust. All right, we'll switch back over to the which way the wind's a blowing mode on our super duper awesome blossom. Hey, this is crazy weather radar. Yeah, I'm good at making up idioms. Apparently my chair. There we go. It finally locked. That's nice. I'm sure it's going to unlock at some point. I'm going to end up getting thrown onto the floor. But if that happens, you know what? This is a motion sensor camera. That'll make a pretty funny video for everyone but me. So, again, a possible tornado now located maybe 1 to 2 miles just northwest of Tenaha on Hick Road. It's going to be coming up on County Road 4670 here in Shelby County. That is County Road 411 in Panola County. And then after that, we're going to be having Highway 59. So again, coming up on Lewis Lane, Hick Road, County Road 4670, near or just north of Tenaha, and Highway 59, moving northeast into southeastern Panola County. And once it's in southeastern Panola County, we're going to be in a pretty rural area. But we're going to stay here until this is out of Texas. Because we don't care if you live in the middle of nowhere or you live in downtown Dallas. We're going to give you severe weather information. Your life matters just as much as anyone else. But again, we don't want anyone on 59 right now, north of 84. and Tenaha, in all likelihood, if there's not a brief tornado down, there's probably a pretty good rotating wall cloud passing just north of town, and then that'll be moving into southeastern Panola County. All right, let's clean up these road labels a bit. We had too many going. I'm just going to get some road labels going on here. And by the way, if you're wanting to know the forecast for the remainder of today, and then storm system number 2 on Saturday, storm system number 3 on Monday, be sure to head over and check out the Texas Weather Roundup. If you're watching on Facebook, that was posted about 5:45 this morning. If you're watching on YouTube, head on over to the Texas Weather Center YouTube channel. That's our secondary YouTube channel. But we also posted it to the community section on Texas Storm Chasers, and we got the forecast. In case you're wondering, we're going to switch to a colder pattern. Might have some snow on Saturday, might have some snow on Monday. And hopefully none of this severe weather. Yep, I told you the chair was going to throw me. So again, here's the latest velocity scan. Possible tornado coming up to Highway 59 right on the Panola-Shelby County line, maybe 2 miles north of Tenaha or Tenaha. We'll do some probing on data here. We've got winds moving towards the radar in Shreveport at about 36, 37 miles an hour. Winds moving away at about 30, so about 65 mile an hour gate-to-gate shear. Certainly strong enough to support the possibility of a brief tornado. If we don't have a tornado down, we likely have a pretty strongly rotating wall cloud that might be hugging tree level. We'll switch over to the debris mode. And let's be very careful about this. I see that little donut there, but again, let's be careful. Let's circle the velocity, look at reflectivity, and take a look at that. This is actually a false positive here. Some folks get tricked by it. But see how this is in the clear air region. This is inflow into the thunderstorm. We have lackluster reflectivity values for reflectivity nerd talk below 40 dBc. Now, if we look at correlation coefficient, that's right where that lower correlation coefficient is, aka a tornado debris signature. But that's not a tornado debris signature. That's just areas of inflow there, maybe some dust, etc. For it to be a tornado debris signature, it needs to be co-located with higher reflectivity values. Now, if that little debris signature was right here, and the velocity was there, and the correlation coefficient was there, that would be a tornado debris signature, but it's not. So, sometimes you got to be careful that you don't get tricked by them. And as usual, I've learned that myself because of experience over the years. So again, a possible brief tornado crossing over Highway 59 now, probably near County Road 435, about to progress into southeastern Panola County. Tenaha, give it until 11:50, and then you're going to be clear to go. And this is going to be an issue for southeastern Panola County before moving into Louisiana. This isn't going to be an issue for Carthage. This isn't an issue for Center. This isn't an issue for Tipson, Gary City, DeBary, etc. This is an issue now for areas north and northeast of Tenaha into southeastern Panola County. We'll switch back over to the which way the wind's blowing mode. We'll get that latest scan here in just a minute. The latest velocity scan. You can see the circulation is now east of Highway 59. So, why do we not have a city right there? Oh. So if you're in Tenaha or Tenaha, I'm going to go ahead and say you're clear from this. This is now several miles to your northeast. Possibility of a brief tornado now on County Road 435, about half a mile to 1 mile east of Highway 59. It's going to be moving up towards County Road 430, several miles east of 59 next, then over rural areas, and then eventually passing over several small county roads and I'm assuming hunting areas. Let me try and get some county road labels on here. And again, 99% of the people watching this are going to have no idea where these county roads are, but those of you who live here probably do, which is why I am trying to put as many of these on as possible to give some reference. Switch back over to the which way the wind's blowing mode in just a second. All right, let's do that. So, this possible tornado is now located probably about 4 miles northeast of Tenaha or Tenaha. Moving northeast at 40 miles an hour. You can see the latest tornado warning there from the Weather Service has put Tenaha out of the polygon. So if you're in Tenaha, continue about your business. You are now clear of this possible tornado. This is now an issue for rural areas of southeastern Panola County, including county roads in Panola County. This is going to be for county roads 428, 430, 448, 446, 449, 455, 456, 463, 467, and Oilfield Road. Again, since there's not really a community out here to name, I'm just naming some county roads, give y'all updated information, but we'll take a look now at other data. Let's just head south, make sure we're not missing anything. That's the only tornado warning. But it looks like we're starting to see a bit of a stronger storm east of Corrigan. That might have some small hail. That's going to be moving towards the northeast at about 50 miles an hour towards Zavala, Brodus, St. Augustine, and Bronson. Again, the potential for maybe some dime-sized hail, gusty winds with that thunderstorm. Not seeing any indications of spinny, doom mischief at this point. And again, we have one tornado warning as for this possibility for a brief tornado now, well east of Highway 59, northeast of Tenaha. This tornado warning has moved out of Shelby County. This is now solely a southeastern Panola County issue. And this is going to be moving northeast at about 40 miles an hour. And at present track, this should be out of Texas probably near or maybe just a couple minutes after noon. And the rotation, we'll get the latest scan here in just a second, is looking a little less impressive. We have no tornado debris signatures. We haven't had any all day. I haven't heard of any damage reports, thankfully, so perhaps these have simply been rotating strongly aloft without translating that strong rotation down to the surface in the form of a tornado. But again, we've had multiple reports of low-hanging wall clouds, strongly rotating low wall clouds, the occasional funnel cloud, but if we get through this without having any sort of touchdowns, that would be great. But at this point, the rotation does seem to becoming much less organized. The storm itself, you can kind of see it as starting to look more... For non-weather weenies, it almost looks like it's moved into a more stable air mass. It's not as organized at this point. The rotation's weakening. So, I think at this point, given the fact it's weakening for now, we'll plan on having this live stream terminate in about 5 minutes, 11:55. But we'll stick around here just to keep folks updated for now. Again, tornado warning for southeastern Panola County continues for probably about another 15 minutes before this moves into Louisiana. This does not include Carthage. This is over rural areas of southeastern Panola County. This includes County Roads 467, 463, 455, 456, 449, 446, 448, 428, and 430. You can see the latest scan just came in. This is now east of County Road 428, well east of Highway 59, now northeast of County Road 430. About to move over County Road 449, 455, and 456 over the next 10 minutes, and then eventually 463, 467 and Oilfield Road before this makes into Louisiana. This possible tornado is now located 7 miles northeast of Tenaha, or yeah, whatever, or about 8 miles from the state line. This is well southeast of Carthage. This is about 15 miles southeast of Carthage. This is 15 to 17 miles north of Center, about 10 miles northwest of Logansport, about 13 to 14 miles southwest of Longstreet, Louisiana, about 30, I'd say 25 to 30 miles southwest of Stonewall, about 19 miles southwest of Keechee, and for all intents and purposes, about 40 miles southwest of Shreveport, which at its current speed would be about 55 to 60 minutes. Tenaha, thank you. That's what I thought. Tenaha. I've had that told to me so many times before, because let's be honest, we've covered this area like 4 or 5 times since late November or early November, and then last spring, and it's this is the midst of y'all's severe weather season. It seems like we're doing this same area like every 2 weeks. Trust me, I'm tired of it too, but hopefully we'll begin a break now after this. You're seeing pictures. Well, thank you for that, but we're going to report some wind damage north of Nacogdoches. So, all things considered, latest with this should be out of Texas probably in the next 10 minutes. Those of you on County Roads 455, 456, 449, 463, 467, and 446 plus Oilfield Road in southeastern Panola County, stay in shelter for about another 10 minutes. This will be moving into Louisiana, and then you'll have some showers, and then probably by 3 o'clock, west winds, clear skies. Looks like circulation continues to trend downward, thankfully, as this little line of showers catches up to it from the west. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Texas-wide view. We'll talk about timing and other issues we're expecting to be dealing with. Let me turn off radar. Switch to satellite. This is the satellite image over the last couple hours. You can see showers, storms. A couple have been severe in East Texas, but otherwise now clearing out in DFW down I-35. It's clear. We'll be clearing out cloud-wise across the Brazos Valley over the next couple hours. Chance for a few showers and storms will continue in southeast Texas through the afternoon. Maybe a couple of storms producing small hail, gusty winds, localized heavy rain. But otherwise, our main issue this afternoon is going to be fire weather. We're going to have the potential for fast-moving grass fires across the western two-thirds of Texas this afternoon. Very strong west winds, dropping humidity, dormant winter fuels, dormant winter grasses, etc. Plus, fairly warm temperatures mean any grass fires that get going could be booking it in a hurry. So firefighters may unfortunately be quite busy this afternoon. Just switched over to a product called Fire or Hotspot Detector. Change the label for that. At this point, we're just looking to see if we see any hotspots detected on satellite. We don't. That is good. I'm going to actually switch data to a... Let's see. Yep, there we go. Just looking to see. No hotspots showing up. That's good. But we'll be keeping an eye out for any wildfires this afternoon that may get going. But otherwise, at this point, I do believe we're going to be Done with the tornado coverage for now. The one tornado warning we have for southeastern Panola County, that'll be in Louisiana within the next 5 to 7 minutes. Circulation is weakening, but we'll be keeping an eye out on any of these other storms just in case we have another brief tornado threat materialize, but the overall tornado threat remains low. Strongest storms may produce some pocket change size hail that's dime to quarter size, and maybe some gusty winds 50 to 55 miles per hour. We'll keep an eye on things here, and if we have any new tornado warnings, we will return. Otherwise, we'll be keeping an eye out for fires across the western two-thirds of Texas this afternoon. As always, you can keep an eye on the sky with the free Texas Storm Chasers mobile app and the interactive weather radar on our website, texasstormchasers.com/radar, when it isn't broken, which it apparently is this morning because timing is everything, and, well, Mother Nature's a troll. So y'all have a good rest of your afternoon. I hope you have an enjoyable lunch. And again, we'll be back if necessary. I'm David Reimer with the Texas Storm Chasers. Have a good rest of your day.